I do hope the real food did real justice to you and all of you are feeling sleepy. So, we will start this session in next 2 minutes. I would like to invite my fellow panelists to kindly join me on the dais. Mr. Jagdish Patankar, Mr. Yogesh Mudras, Mr. Kailash Singh, and Mr. Gaurav Sood. Kindly join us on stage, please. Human side of organizing exhibitions. This is a topic which is very dear to our President Sonia's heart. And we said that how can we address such a complicated topic about the human side of doing business. But last 2 years have been very complicated for our industry. And all of us have learned how to reinvent ourselves. As an exhibition industry, we have always been exhibitor focused. Exhibitors give us the money, we spend the money to do exhibitions, and visitors come and go. But for the last several years, the business model was highly exhibitor centric. Please the exhibitors and we run a good show. But comes 2020, we have seen that exhibitors were not the only part of our ecosystem. Today, we realize the true value for our visitors, and maybe most of us today believe that the real reason for us to do exhibitions was to call our visitors, and if our visitors were coming, inviting exhibitors was no challenge at all. So suddenly there is a new respect, new desire to create better relationships with our visitors, which is the core part of our business now. Last 2 years has also made us realize the value of our employees. In a service industry, we exist because of our employees. We are in business because of our employees. And today, thanks to them, that we were able to get back to our business, because somewhere down the line, the ladies working from home could still finish the databases, could still make the calls, and tried to do justice in whatever they could to see that the business carries on as a going concern. Hats off to our employees. Maybe today the industry feels that is the time now where we say employees are our stakeholders. We are here because of our employees. It's a very complicated topic, and we have some of the most humane organizers with us today who understand what empathy is. Empathy has a very interesting word. It is not daya. Empathy is samvedna, compassion. So when I was thinking about this in the morning, I realized that Mahatma Buddha's Madhyam Marg, which says that dukh is the starting of salvation. Maybe last 2 years, it is the dukh which has told us the path to salvation. As the industry will regenerate, it is recovering. Let's have a very open chat about how we should do our businesses in future. And my first question to our panelists is that last 2 years have taught us a lot. Which is one personal lesson which you would like to share with us? Kailash ji, if you could start with you.
After a really long and cruel spell of this pandemic, really gives a very refreshing feeling and really a lot of hope. Thanks IIA, thanks Sonia, thanks team IIA for in fact taking this initiative to think of this reunion. So I'm a really perennial optimist, but to tell you frankly, I have interacted with a lot of small business houses and medium business houses who have been in our industry. But I think these last 2 years have been little difficult and different. The impact of disruptions due to COVID has been really brutal. Come whatever we may say. Particularly, I will talk about the small business houses. Their financial system otherwise is fragile. They basically run on the system of rotation. And when there is a sudden halt, it really creates havoc. The second important thing was the length and this duration of this crisis was so unpredictable and uncertain that as organizers planning for any event date, talking to the exhibitors, to the venue owners, hotel was very difficult. You cannot take a decision. You can postpone it 2 times, 3 times. Then the 4th time exhibitor says, "Pehle pakka to kar lo, baad mein baat karenge." So the tech that has really, this pandemic has taught us in the last 2 years that we have to rework and reassess on the financial metrics first. I'm talking from the perspective of a small business group. Big people are big, so that's a different thing. We have to really rework on the variable expenses. We have to rework on the fixed expenses. We have to, in fact, rebuild our runway. We have to reduce our variable expenses, and we have to renegotiate with our fixed expenses, and probably we have to concentrate and focus on the crucial essentials for survival. That is my take in the last 2 years.
Thank you, sir. Jagdish, if you'd like to say something.
Thank you, Suraj. I think I'm a different person after 2 years. I must admit that. One thing that I realized is I felt extremely proud of our country. The newfound belief and faith in our country to fight every challenge, to come together, whether it was organizations, NGOs, government, industry. I mean, the kind of resilience our country had shown, the kind of, with a lot of peace and calmness, we addressed the issues and we dealt with pandemic together. And I think that comes from the intrinsic value that our country believes. And why I'm saying this is, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is the principle on which our country is built. That is the ethos of our country. And I think that family value of supporting each other, that social structure in which we live, I got to see that in these 2 years, not only around me, but also within the industry. And I realized that if we have to fight any such pandemic or any unwarranted, unexpected challenges that we are going to face, I can't do it alone. I have to depend upon my colleagues, folks from the industry, and together we can overcome any challenge. So if you ask me what is that single most thing that I learned, I think it is the camaraderie that I learned in the last 2 years. And I will give you a very small example from our industry. I'm also associated with a small organization from Karnataka by the name Karnataka Event Management Association. And I was amazed to see, and there are about 100 members there, all small players. Most of them are into weddings and corporate events and so on and so forth. And almost everybody had this huge challenge of everything shutting down. And the way they shared their resources, the way they collaborated, they shared office spaces, they shared staff. When any small program was happening, everybody came together and supported. And today, I see that all of them have come back into the business and now they are really collaborating with each other. So I think one biggest lesson that I have taken out of the last 2 years is, we have to be together. Camaraderie is very important. We have to share experiences. We have to share resources. We have to support each other. And that's the only way, we will be able to grow. So together we grow and together we go far. Because alone you can walk fast, but together we can walk far.
Great thoughts, I must say. Yogesh, over to you.
We all had a huge pressure on us to sustain our companies, sustain our businesses, and it was actually something where businesses could have ended and we wouldn't have. But I think how we sustained it, doing various measures. I think Kailash did mention all those measures. I think each one of us definitely would have done that. We adapted. It was just about keeping our nose above the water. I think that was very important. So we should not be drowned. I think that's what we all did it, and that's why we are seeing this day to day. Things changing, and the second thing is also about collaboration. I think you said camaraderie. I am talking of collaboration because I think once you are returning to events, I think it wouldn't have been without the support of the entire ecosystem that we got, be it the venues, be it our service provider partners who have definitely come out, and because they understood, because putting up an event after coming back was really stressful, and the way they have managed to help us bring the cost down to ensure that event happens. So I think that success of that event was very critical, because if the event succeeds, I think then everybody succeeds. That was the thinking. So that was very important. But a third point which I also want to bring out here is being bold. In fact, a lot of you guys might see that there are certain things which we have to do as organizers or anybody. I think we feel pressure that everybody is going negative against the things what we want to do. The show nahi hoga. There are no visitors going to turn up, and they want to turn up. I was just talking to a few of you here, actually giving examples of one of our show which just happened a couple of weeks back. 2 days before the show, on Monday, the setup was going to start, and Saturday, I had a call from a group of exhibitors saying, "Sir, please cancel the show. We are not participating. We have studied the market. None of our buyers, none of our dealer distributors are coming in. Please go ahead and cancel. We are not going to come." I think I was out on a chutti with my family and friends in Alibag, and there in the jungle I was doing that call. I think that was the time I think we as a team got together. We discussed that I think there's no way we can cancel the show. We can't let them untwist us. I think we will still go ahead with the show. Let them come if they want to come. And I think each one of them came, barring 2 of them who didn't turn up. And they said sorry that we should have trusted us, and the footfalls were amazing. I think so. This is a time we as an industry should be bold. I think some of our exhibitors might think, because they are putting in money. You understand from their perspective also that they are putting in money, so they have every right to be skeptical about whether we will have good shows or not. But then I think it's the time we have to be bold and take those decisive steps, move ahead and make the shows happen. So these are some things which I have learned in this past 1.5 years.
Thank you. Gaurav, over to you.
So ecosystem, as everybody's echoed here, is something which is very important, and suddenly with all the travel restrictions and the lockdowns, we wanted to do everything which we were not supposed to do. We wanted to meet people, we wanted to meet family, we wanted to meet friends, but sometimes we were scared to meet them, and most of the times they were also scared to meet us. So the importance of having that ecosystem was heightened during the pandemic. The importance of communicating, the importance of keeping those connections alive through whatever means, whether it was virtual, phone calls. It was, I think the biggest takeaway was we have to be communicating with our family, friends, suppliers, exhibitors, visitors, industry colleagues, because we are in it together, and together we're going to cross the bridge. We've already seen the success of first few exhibitions, and it's overwhelming how the entire industry has come together.
Thank you, Gaurav. See, one thing is very clear, that we are sitting in a room of eternal optimists. We are here because we believe that things will get better in the future. Lahiri Mahasaya, the guru of Paramahansa Yogananda, had a very famous quote, "Banat banat ban jaye." Bante bante baat banti hai. And in an exhibition industry, if you don't have that intuitive call ki baat banegi, we are never able to really plan 24 months, 48 months, 60 months in advance. But things do happen. The second impact which we have seen is a much greater respect for our employees. Employees in a service sector are the ethos, the key reasons why we are here. And last 2 years, we have seen how they have struggled with pay cuts, difficult working circumstances at home, disease, deaths, challenges which were unsurmounted. But credit goes to them that they have supported the entire community and we are able to get back to our feet in the shortest possible time. The true grit of a person can only be seen how he treated you in his time of adversity. I call this as the Dard ka Rishta. When you have stayed together in dardful times, you know that in happy times you don't have to work on that at all. So my second question to our panelists is, how did you maintain team motivation in that difficult times? And I would again start with Kailash ji.
You know, crafting new talent strategy in terms of developing their creativity and digital enabling processes. These are good things, but you see, when there is no revenue or there is low revenue, the small organizations hardly get any time and space for all these things. You need some time. Suddenly, Corona came. Suddenly, it all happened. So you don't have that space to rebuild it. It takes time for rebuilding, kind of a thing. And whatever compassion we talk of, because I have brought up my staff as my own children. Whatever compassion you talk of, whatever transparent communication channel you talk of, whatever team building spirit you talk of, and at the end of the day, you have to pay them, to enable them to pay their children's school fee, their rentals, their installment. So at the end of the day, it boils down to the common denominator of money. The organizations have to have huge reserve or have to have a running financial system to keep the staff's spirit alive. But whatever it is, I don't know about the bigger organization, but in my case, many people stayed, some people left, but many people who had left also came back. So probably there is a system which looks after itself. Probably we have to build up new business strategy to alleviate risk, which is the learning process in this.
Thank you. Every organization has a value system which is unique. Patankar ji, how did you motivate your employees in these tough times?
Well, there are few things that we try to do. Of course, initial phase was very tough. Didn't know what to do. Felt like lost for a while. And then I talked to some of the employees. I asked them what are their concerns. I took them on some of the senior ones who've been with the organization for a long time. And two things we did at the ground level. One thing I decided that come what may, I will try my best to make sure that every employee is retained for at least 1 to 1.5 years. When this pandemic is on, this is not going to be a lifelong thing. At some point of time, we are going to overcome that. So, retain the employee. Make sure that, because as I said, it's one family. So, if I have concerns about running my family, I should be equally concerned about running their families also. That is one. Second thing that taught me, and because I am also into technology events, a lot of technology exhibitions like IT, biotech, nanotech, and deep tech related events I do. I also realized one more thing, that tomorrow's world is all about technology in every business. There cannot be any business without technology. And we are seeing that, whether it is education, healthcare, retail, so on and so forth. Technology intervention is very critical. And when I started looking at my own organization and the kind of business that we are into, I felt that probably we have not done enough to bring in the technology aspect to the extent that we should. And then I started with a very, very small things, like one, of course, once in a month, once in a week, meeting, interacting through Zoom calls and all that. But we conducted a series of small soft skills. As simple as I realized that half of my employees didn't know how to use Excel effectively. And honestly, even I. And I called the expert. I said, okay, give us the best way to use Excel effectively. Word. And so on and so forth. So I started with it. Then we came to the real issue of, and that is probably another question that we have about, engagement with the customers and all that. I discussed with employees as to someday this is going to end. And we will come back to that. But by that time, what will happen is, we will become rather too lethargic. There is this story of a farmer. There is this village. I think we need to tell this story. I like that story. There is a village, and it is cursed that for the next 12 years there will be no rains. So all the villagers are finding their own way to survive. One villager is tilling his farm. Others say, "यार वैसे भी 10-12 साल बारिश नहीं गिरने वाली. तुम ये क्यों कर रहे हो?" There is the need to do that. He said, the day it will start raining, you all would have lost the skill of tilling the land. I want to make sure that I'm ready for it, so that I will reap the harvest in a big way. So what I realized is, probably what is going to happen is, it's going to be a different world, and we have to be ready for the new world. And how we can do that? So through interactions, through meetings, through training programs, that is another thing. Third thing, of course, I was lucky in a way that one of my clients, who happens to be Government of Karnataka, I did a very large digital show last year as well as this year. So during pandemic time, my team was working from home, working from office, and we still managed to put together a great show during this pandemic time. So that was, in a way, I was lucky.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Yogesh, you run the jumbo jet of the exhibition industry. How did you motivate your employees last 2 years?
So that's a tough question, but I think what I must say is, I think first of all, I think I have a very self-motivated team, so I don't need to motivate them. We have a very good senior management team, and they take care of their own team, so that makes my job easy. I think it's been just continuously engaging with them, continuously communicating with them what's happening in the company. So I think, especially when we're working from home, it was very important to communicate. At times, when you're not meeting face to face, it's over communication is also a good ploy. So if I rather I used to hold maybe frequent town halls or my email communications regularly about what's happening globally, what's the COVID scenario, how are we facing that in India, when do we see our events coming back. And I think, luckily, I think we actually graduated quickly from, we knew that physical is not going to take place very soon. So we moved to virtual mode pretty soon, and that's what kept my team busy. In fact, so there was action happening on the floor. Each vertical had their own virtual events which were being put up one after the other, and there was sort of an internal competition. So there was, of course, the revenues were not up to the mark, profits not up to the mark, but I think it kept us busy. And that's what actually the focus, I tried to divert from the COVID thing to the business part of it. Of course, the softer things kept on happening. Our HR team working on getting yoga sessions in the morning. So we had everyday yoga sessions online. We had excellent MS Team software, so people coming in groups doing yoga, and a lot of other things which all kept the motivation pepped up, of course. And that's what we tried to do. I think trying to defocus them from the pandemic, what's going outside. And my only thing was to tell them that these are the factors which are beyond our control. So let's not worry about it, and let's do what is in our control. I think that's most important. So I think that's why we try to keep ourselves busy.
Thank you. Over to you.
COVID had started in November in China, and by the time it came to India, we had already celebrated Holi, and so we knew that this is going to take long. So what we did first was we made work from anywhere a reality. We invested heavily in IT infrastructure. We moved all the team to work from home model because we had lockdowns, then it opened up, then it again went back. So we didn't want the employees to have a concern that their health is compromised. So first was that. Second was we decided to cut costs, but we decided that we are going to pay full salaries. We also paid commissions to our staff on the sales which they made during the pandemic, whether the events ran or not. I think somewhere being an international company helped a lot here because you can do that. What we also did for the staff was we floated a special COVID leave policy. Now, this is interesting because this was on top of their annual quota of leaves. This was not capped, like many organizations give a 2-week COVID leave. So our leave was uncapped. We said if you've contacted COVID or somebody in your family needs assistance, you can avail of this leave. The onus was on the staff to tell us whether they need 5, 7 days, 14 days, or even 3 weeks. So somebody even took 3 weeks, but then that person had COVID and had typhoid as well. So we can understand, but people didn't exploit it. So the whole objective here was that we are taking care of you and you will take care of our clients in the same manner as we have taken care of you. So these were small things which helped keep the morale high. We went on an overdose of communication. There were a lot of webinars, peer learning, external speakers, sessions with doctors, yoga, meditation. We also did some COVID relief campaigns outside. So taking staff beyond the work, so taking their mind off what is happening around the world, spreading positive news. We used to have daily communication with the entire team, so that's a ritual which we continue even today. So we connect with everybody on a call every day morning, so everybody's on the same platform. So those things have helped us.
Thank you. The music to any organizer is when an exhibitor or a visitor telephones you and says, "साहब आपकी अगली exhibition कब होगी? हमें जगह बुक करनी है." Or I want to attend your show, when are you doing it again? So there are a lot of visitors who have found values and now there is a renewed respect for them. My question to Mr. Patankar is very direct. How do you create devoted visitors?
As exhibitor organizers, our emphasis is too much on the exhibitors who are our first customers and who are paying us money. But we do not pay enough attention to the fact that it is ultimately the visitor who is the customer of our customer is our real customer. Because only when we build relationships with the end customer, it is the exhibitor who is going to come to us every now and then. And how do you really do that? I felt that this is one area that one needs to focus on very much. And at MM Active, we have tried to do that in many different ways during the pandemic time and otherwise also. So one thing that we started many years back, 10 or 15 years back when I had gone to US to attend a biotech show, I was amazed by the tool used by the organizers in actually connecting visitors to the exhibitors and the delegates much in advance, setting up advanced meetings. And when I observed that model, which was in biotech, I realized that in many of the other industries, we don't do that enough. We depend on the walk-in customers which is going to happen over those 3 days or 4 days of exhibition that we put together. So one thing that we try to do is we have tried to adopt that, integrated that tool into our business practice, wherein we can help our participating exhibitors set up meetings with their potential customers in advance, so that even before they come to the show, they know that there are going to be meaningful interactions and engagements and businesses there in store. That is one. Second thing is, in the pandemic time, what we did, I'll give you another example. We do this public transport show by the name Pravas. It's scheduled in the month of February in Hyderabad. This year, the first 2 shows we did in Mumbai. During this entire pandemic time, we conducted seminars for our customers to connect with their customers who are essentially bus operators. And we took up various interesting topics. It is about finance, it is about maintenance, it is about technology integration and all that. So what happened was we were constantly in touch with our first customers, but we also made sure that they were talking to their potential customers every now and then, talking about their new product launches and so on and so on. So I feel that it is not just about those 3 days of engagement. We have to find ways to make sure that the remaining 362 days, whether we can create something by which the dialogue, we help facilitate the dialogue between our exhibitors and their customers. If we can do that, I'm sure loyalty of our customers is nowhere going. Thank you.
Thank you. I often make this statement that the future of exhibitions is not virtual, but the future of exhibitions is digital. IIA as an association is demystifying digital. And some of us are already exploring, experimenting with data science and AI to predict the customer-consumer behavior. My question for Yogesh is that in terms of data science and AI, how does that figure in your digital promotion?
So I think data science and AI definitely has a big role to play as we move ahead and deliver large format exhibitions. I think that's going to be the base. As we all say, data is the foundation of our business. Having said that, we all must admit that we are still at a very nascent stage in this really, and as an industry, we still have to do a lot in this space, which is there. So I think that there's a lot to come. I think it's all about how we understand our customer, and as Jagdish mentioned, it's customers. So it's about talking to them, having those social listening skills. What is happening? What are they doing? What are they really wanting about it? Also creating some personalized messaging, and in fact reaching out to them on a personal basis. Because I think what we do is at times we do a lot of mass campaigns which really don't have that personal touch. I think that is something which we at Informa globally are trying to do, looking on social listening skills, personalizing our messages to our exhibitors, our customers. We are in fact working on a large global level project called IRIS, which is about the same data science and AI. In fact, we have a plan to implement that in the next 12 months or so across the globe. And that's something which will definitely help us understand our customers better as well as customers. I think we already have adapted some part of it, like chatbots. We are making our websites which are having chatbots, which will help us, in fact, make our websites more interactive with the traffic that's coming into our website. So and those lead generations that can happen over there. So lots at play as of now, but definitely it's still at a nascent stage. As I'm sure even in 1 year, though we implement it, until the time we use all the functionalities of it, it's going to be probably a 2 to 3 year horizon by the time we start learning really what's exactly possible. I think that's somewhere which we are looking at, and I think we will take it from there. But I think as exhibition or show organizers, definitely this is the way to go, because I think our customers are also becoming very scientific, and they also they are very ROI driven, and we need to see how we can fulfill their demands really. And that this data science, scientific way of looking at our data and using this intelligence of social listening will definitely take you a lot ahead in the future.
Thank you, Yogesh. Personally, I feel that the future will arrive earlier than expected. See, last couple of years, we have also seen several M&A transactions in the exhibition and conference industry, where suddenly you find teams from different companies working for the same show together. This question is for Gaurav Sood. How do you integrate teams from different backgrounds?
So I think for us, it is we have a very detailed induction program when we get into some sort of a large integration, wherein everybody is taken through the whole company, the processes, how we run, and different functions of each vertical. They also get to meet their peers across different functions, and the processes are standardized. So whatever is being followed by one team is followed across the company. So that helps us a lot. And we do a lot of interaction. Communication plays a major role in this. We do a lot of town halls. There are one-on-one sessions, team building activities which we conduct between different teams. So right now we're in the middle of something like this as well. So I think it's a lot to do with communication, hand-holding, and letting them gel into the whole system.
Thank you. See, last couple of weeks ago, United Arab Emirates introduced a 4-way working week, where you could work only for 4 days, and that was the week. I would like to ask my panelists their views on the same. 4 days in a week, 3 days holidays. Sir, आपके बारे में आपका क्या विचार?
At the end of the day, I don't know, but probably at my stage and age, a time has come when one would like to have more rest and would try to pursue your own passions and try to cherish the bliss of solitude, in rare moments of possibilities. Probably friends spend more time with your family and friends. And Dubai is a different country, so we really cannot say that. But what has happened in the last 2 years, probably people want a little more time to think and reinvent themselves. So it's okay. Probably they will come back to 5 days again. It was a 5-day thing. So it is a good break from the traditional scheme of things.
Jagdish ji, 4 days will increase efficiency or no?
Honestly, I think it's not about 4 days or 3 days or 5 days. It's about creating opportunity for employees to, spend time with families, do their personal things, recreation, refresh. It's all about that. And people are inventing different models for that. I think in a conventional sense, conventional industries, 4 days will work. Probably if the world becomes more lazy, good for India. We'll continue to work 24/7 and keep dominating the world business. But yes, coming back to this, I think post-pandemic, things have already changed. It's no more about 4 days or 3 days. It's about giving complete flexibility to your employees to choose how they want to work. Our industry is very different. We are project-driven people. So whenever there is a project, we work 24/7. There are no weekends, nothing. And when there is no project, immediate project, you allow them to take a long break. Who cares? I come from an advertising background. For many years in my company, there was no book where I would mark, absentee, absent, present, PL, CL, SL. There was nothing. Absolutely nothing. Employees the freedom is given to them the way they, want to work. And at the end of the day, I think all this is about creating those opportunities for employees to, as I said, to engage more with families, to do different things, to refresh, to learn, and all that. So, I think flexibility is the key, and I would look for creating that flexibility in the working system rather than worrying about whether it is 4 days or 5 days.
So outcome matters. The transaction time is not so important. Gaurav, your view on this 4-day week? Your employees are very keen to know your answer.
So, I think UAE has a very different work culture. It is very streamlined, and what takes 4 days to do in India probably happens in a day in UAE. So, those are also factors which we would want to keep in mind. But as Mr. Patankar said, COVID already changed the norms of working. Today it's more about accountability and your deliverables. Organizations really don't focus on people being 9 to 5 in the office. They need to have that flexibility to balance their life and work. So I think we are headed there, but from a market or an industry maturity perspective, we would still take some time to evolve, I would say. Thank you.
So it's a brave answer, I can say. So any questions from our delegates? If anybody would like to ask any question, I see one hand being raised from Raipur.
Suraj, you mentioned one comment that you were saying that the digital is eventually coming. Yeah? You concluded one of your points that you said digitally is finally coming. In some time it is coming, right? Now what is the preparation that we should all do? I mean, that is definitely a fear factor for me at least. I'm sure many others would echo the same sentiments with me.
Okay, so this is a very interesting topic. When I say running a digital corporation, it is incorporating technologies to help you run your business better. It has got nothing to do with virtual exhibitions or hybrid exhibitions.
I knew this answer and thank you.
So I would like to tell more people that IAIA would be running more seminars on how to convert yourself into a digital corporation rather than saying that we are talking about virtual or hybrid, and there's great future in that. Mr. Agarwal had a question. Yeah.
I have a question. we are discussing regarding this humanity and regarding this employer relationship. You sold your property to give all types of benefits and take care of your employees during this trouble time. I think most of the people have done this. They have taken care of each and everything for their employees to keep them intact and loyal with them. But now suddenly what is happening? When the opportunities are coming, they are leaving you. Because you have invested huge money on them, but by the time the opportunity is coming, the exhibitions are opening, they left your organizations and join your competitors' organization or some other place. So that is one. Second, some group of people who are working with you and you have the total trust on them, you have given each and everything to them, they know each and every crunch of business what you are doing. Suddenly you are finding that they have left you and they have started their own show in front of you. So these are the challenges which we have to consider among us, that if any competitors person we are picking up, what is going to happen? And it is happening in our industry very well. This problem is to be tackled at our level as ethical, because in most of the good companies they look for the background of the employees if they are taking from other place, and they take the NOC from that employer, earlier employer. So similar kind of arrangements should be made in our association members also, that if we are taking any competitors person or any person from the industry, there has to be NOC or some kind of background checkup, so that it can help, that it will not harm the other organization as well. This is what my observations in after 18 months we have faced such type of problems a lot of employees which we have been taken care. Just when we started the exhibitions, they left. So this is happening. I think we have to address this issue very well. Thank you very much.
See, my comment on this would be to each on his own. You have your own style of living your life. You should not choose your lifestyle based on how others react to you. The entire exhibition industry is one large family. If you receive a CV from a competitions company, you should be comfortable enough to pick up the phone and talk to them कि इनका CV आया है, क्या करना चाहिए. They themselves would say whether it's a good or a bad thing. Our industry feels that we are amongst competition in this room. Actually, that myth should be dispelled with. आप लोगों आपस में चर्चा करेंगे तो I think the things will get much easier. And Sudeep had this question about digital cooperation. The second big wave for 23 will be shared resources. So maybe in future we will ask each other if you have got 3-4 people free, can they do this project for us? बात करके तो देखो, it will be very, very amazing. Any other questions you have? Yeah. Yes, please.
अग्रवाल जी, एक एक्सपीरियंस आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहता हूँ. You know, there is one very interesting finding, the industry that I work with, particularly IT and deep tech industry. There is a very interesting finding that during the pandemic time, as you know, the employee turnover is very high in this sector, almost 23-24%, as high as that. However, Indian multinationals have succeeded in retaining the employees better than global multinationals. Which means whichever big global multinationals that you see, employee turnover in India is higher with them and lesser with Infosys, Wipro, Persistent, and so on and so forth. And this is becoming a global case study, by the way. And the reason that they have observed is why this is happening is because empathy level in us as we Indians is very high. And the companies, Indian multinationals have done a lot more for their employees in this pandemic time. It is not just about paying them money or paying them their salaries in time. It's also about taking care of their families. You know, one of the interesting statements that a person from Infosys and Wipro, I think it was Wipro, he told me that earlier we had 10 facilities in India. 10 facilities that we operate from. We have now 40,000 facilities. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, my employees are working from home. I am investing into my facilities and creating great facilities am I really equally concerned and sensitive about the facility, which is his home that he's working from? What kind of ecosystem is there? Am I going to make his life easy? Am I going to make sure that the insurance is extended to his family, healthcare is extended to his family? And there are number of initiatives that they have taken. They have converted their facilities into hospitals. They have given priorities. They have done vaccination drives for their own employees. And these are some of the reasons why employees, when they want to quit a job, wife tells, sorry, I don't want you to quit this job. I want you to continue to be with TCS or Infosys or Wipro. Just for 40% hike, you're not going anywhere else. So I think there is a lesson to learn from all this.
Vivekanand ji had this question.
Yes, sir. No, I have no question, sir. Just want to share. You are also informing because all are these people here, all are very learned people and all are from exhibition industry. So I'm not informing, just to share. Because नानी के घर में ननियाल वालों को नानी का परिचय तो अच्छा नहीं लगता है. But share तो कर सकते हैं. See, the aspect is when it is 4 hours and 5 hours regarding when you are talking about the duration of working, it's all about balance. Like you have ecological balance. अगर घास है, हिरन है और शेर है, शेर बढ़ जाएगा तो सारा हिरन खा लेगा, घास की ज्यादा हो जाएगी, बेकार हो जाएगा इकोसिस्टम. और अगर हिरन बहुत ज्यादा हो गए तो घास खत्म हो जाएगा, घास खत्म हो जाएगा, हिरन भी खत्म हो जाएगा, हिरन खत्म हो जाएगा, शेर भी खत्म हो जाएगा. यानी तीनों का बैलेंस जरूरी है कि हम सब दिन 4 दिन सोते रह गए या 8 दिन काम करते रहे. कोविड के बाद लोग परेशान थे, मिल गया होगा कभी 4 दिन के लिए, thinking that it's a balance, creating a balance. So ultimately balance is important and very nice, in India we have been following all these systems much before what today. Design thinking has come in last few years and Gandhi ji talked about design thinking that time. Customer भगवान होता है. अब हम जब बात करते हैं तो आज फोकस कर रहे हैं कस्टमर पे या एम्प्लॉय पे. All are important. Visitors are important, exhibitors are important, venue operators are important, and of course, any stakeholder. If there's an imbalance in any of the stakeholders, the whole exhibition industry problem हो जाएगी. जिसको आँख खराब होता है लगता है कि आँख ही दुनिया में सबसे बड़ी चीज. जिसको सांस लेने में दिक्कत होता है सांस ही दुनिया में सबसे बड़ी चीज. मैं तो कहता हूँ कि एक अंगूठे में चोट लग जाए तो ना बटन लगा सकते हो, ना खाना खा सकते हो, ना कलम से लिख सकते हो, ना दाढ़ी चला सकते हो. Imagine just one small thumb cancer was in an ecosystem. Every bit employee or peon or staff, your exhibitors, your distributors, everybody is important. So my message is, of course, all of you are well learned people here, but yes, employees also has to be taken care of. Of course, the customers, visitors. But again, the business comes from somewhere. Ultimately, the money is become. If a newspaper people, they do not earn money by selling it at 3 rupees. It's so because they earn by advertisement. Advertisement comes with circulation, and circulation will come with content. All things are important then within that system. So this is my take that if all the system will work, then only it will be approved. Thank you.
Thank you. With this, we will conclude this session. May I call our president to felicitate us? I think we did a fair job. So, Vice President has been given the honors to felicitate all of us. So, Deep ji, if you could come on board.